Hi. Let me turn on this light. Yeah, I was too busy getting everything ready. Let me take care of these. I don't have any nature sounds behind me right now. I was just putting those on because I like how it sounds in between the countdown, little gaps in the countdown. Well, I have been researching, well, not actively researching, just kind of watching some videos, looking it up a little bit. You know, when somebody in the comments yesterday mentioned that Jeffrey Epstein is alive, my first reaction, no. My first reaction was when he died, I felt like he had really died. And I know Trump likes to strangle people. Trump has strangled me, I believe, on more than one occasion. At least I don't think it was just one time. And that's what he likes to do. And I thought that Jeffrey Epstein was in jail in New Jersey for some reason when he died, but he was in jail in New York City when he went dead. And Trump was at his what is it? His golf club, I guess his club in New Jersey, which is really close. It's, I grew up in New Jersey and I was in and out of New York City all the time. It's kind of an extension of central New Jersey. I don't know his golf club. I don't know, Globe, whatever it's called, in New Jersey. I think it's a little more north of Princeton, where I'm from, and where Trump came on, visited my house, and Epstein and everything when, in the late 70s when I think it started like when I was, it peaked in seventh grade, which was 78 into 79. Yeah. And, I don't know if it started in sixth grade, which was 77 into 78. And my eighth grade year was 79 to 1980. And Jeffrey Epstein stopped coming after a certain point, because he started insisting, wanting me to come to his house instead. And yeah, I created a monster. Something got stimulated in him. I mean, it's a very sad situation. Yeah, he became a monster, and I guess that's when he no longer came to my house in Princeton, New Jersey. I do not believe that Trump or Epstein visited my house when I was in high school. I started my freshman year of high school in September of 1980, and I do not believe either guy was coming to my house anymore. Now, I could be wrong, um, because I was getting older, and as I got older, they started, using more of the DATE, RAPE drugs on me instead of the SEX, kinda like ecstasy Ds on me. Um, but I usually remember more on the DATE, RAPE drugs than the other. Okay, so, but yeah, so that was my immediate reaction when I saw that in the comments. I didn't even check my comments yesterday, so today I'm gonna try and check them in case somebody is there. I'm not used to getting comments. I know that's really sad. Let me put, my little headlines too while we're at it. Where am I? Here we go. We'll show that, and we'll do our little ticker. There we go. I know I have to put myself a little higher here. Um, yeah, I really didn't that wasn't I did not immediately believe that. I was a little surprised. I mean, I guess it's been going around for a while. I just don't keep up with it. And but I started to because I posted this live stream as, with the thumbnail I did and wrote what I did in the description. YouTube started pushing some Epstein uh, videos my way that from people who claim he's alive. And I started watching a couple or a few minutes here, just trying to get an understanding of what people are claiming. And I have to admit, I really think it's very possible that Jeffrey lives. I mean, if, he was someone who was very well connected, had lots of money, lots of my money, most likely. I know we rigged this. Uh, he was, he was well connected because of my money. My people brought him into my life in the late 70s for a reason, and it was really after that that he got to be really well connected. And a lot of people were brought together through me. Trump, he wouldn't have any money or any connections. Well, I know his father was successful with the real estate and had some money, yeah, but he wouldn't have gone to new heights like he did if it hadn't been for my money and my connections. I mean, I know I was just a little girl at the time, but my people uh, had all the connections, and they were orchestrating a big event surrounding me, and for, I guess, to prepare for today in 2025. I mean, I hope so. I hope the event is happening soon. The media event that will introduce me to the world. I'm very sad that a lot of other people had to suffer besides myself. Very sad about that girl who died not so long ago, who was a victim of Jeffrey's and Trump's. Hi, Lily. I know she was telling the truth. But yeah, he had connections, and if they're gonna, fake anybody's death, it's gonna be somebody who's well positioned and well connected. He was not in jail very long, but it would have been very easy for someone to help him live underground, literally. And there's a lot of footage out there. It's really convincing. And I mean, just different things, different clues. And I'm wondering if he is alive to help me in my situation. I mean, he wasn't in my life at all. He hurt me a lot. He abused, ABUSED'd me like all the other girls. that he's known to do that with. But yeah, he would be a person that they would take underground for whatever purpose. And it would be nice if it was to help Claire. He owes me. He owes me, and he owes all his victims big time. And this would be something he could do before he dies to help his case, to help resolve some of his karma, his bad karma. And, some people, we all have accumulate bad karma over time, and we have to release it. We have to expiate it somehow. And some people, they accumulate instead of expiating it little by little, which is healthier and better for a person. Some people accumulate a lot of it until the only way they can expiate it is by being a bad person that does people harm. That's what devils are. That's what bad people are. That's what criminals are, And um, the Lotus Sutra, which is the teaching that Nichiren Buddhism is founded upon, teaches that even devils can become enlightened, as well as, no other teaching, ancient teaching teaches that women can become enlightened, and no ancient teaching claims that children can become enlightened. Devils, women, and children have just as much have the potential to become enlightened, just like everybody else. The Lotus Sutra is the only teaching in existence that claims that. In the past, it was believed that women weren't capable of enlightenment like men. To be honest, if anyone was capable of enlightenment, it would be women. Men, they don't have the aptitude that women have. Men, women would. It's a woman who would achieve enlightenment before a man. But men in history, they just really thought they were it, and they just wanted to discredit everything and everyone else. They wanted to be in control of everything. It's all that testosterone on the brain that makes men like that. Okay, well, I saw this article from the FBI, and I'm going to share it. Just found it. Where am I? Okay, let me share it. Where is it? Here it is. So the FBI says this is the Trump administration's FBI. Now let me see if I'm not even on the screen. Okay, I'll just be right here. Here I am, but you can't see me because I have that. Let's do this. But then you can't see the article. Okay, I'll put this away then. All right. This is me. You can't really see that. And this one, you can't really see everything. It's kind of annoying that it's like this. And then this, you can see everything. But it's not big enough, is it? Let me just do it like this. All right. Let me go to the page. Where is it? All right. So this is the Trump White House. This is the Trump administration's FBI that says it will release video that officials say prove Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. I never believed it was by suicide because I have the experience and the history that I have with Trump. I could see Trump doing the honors in that cell, and I believe Trump had reason to do away with him, and I could see it in my mind's eye. I just was so sure of it. But then again, it's very possible that I was re-experiencing what he did to me, I mean, I have personal experience that might be blinding me. But yeah, I knew if he is dead, and, I haven't made a final decision about that. Um, it would not have been by suicide. I knew that right away. Um, and I just think that there wouldn't be the evidence. That he had a broken. I think it was a broken bone in his neck that is not supposed to be broken if he died by suicide, if he hung himself. That bone would not be broken. That broken bone in his neck is more consistent with somebody strangling him. And yeah, that was just proof positive. I already had my opinion, and that seemed to confirm it, when I heard that. So, I mean, it really, I am open to this idea that he could be alive. I mean, if there was anybody who would fake a death, which really could be him. I mean, he has enough money, and there's a lot of evidence that indicates that maybe that's what happened. Okay, so FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said that the Bureau plans to release a new video to prove that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in federal custody. And this was in May. So the video is just that footage of the jail cell, and it wasn't even his door. It wasn't even his cell. And there's like, what, I don't know how many minutes, 3 minutes missing from the footage. It didn't do anything to quell. It actually created more questions, and that's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, the announcement is intended to quash conspiracy theories that Epstein was the target of an orchestrated killing. Oh, okay. So that's all they're talking about. There's video clear as day. Interesting that he said clear. Let's just read it. FBI. Okay. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said Thursday the Bureau plans to release a new video that shows Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier, accused of orchestrating SEX-TRAFFICKING of young girls, killed himself in federal custody. There's video clear as day. And, that video was not at all clear. That's so funny. I guess they just thought people would accept it and not really think about and look at all the details. So he said this in an interview on Fox and Friends that the video is clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it. I don't think I saw him coming out. Although Epstein's death was ruled a suicide at the time, his sudden demise and his long list of influential and wealthy friends has sparked a rash of conspiracy theories suggesting he was the target of an orchestrated killing. I say to people, if you have a tip, let us know, Bongino told Fox and Friends. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing. If you have it, I'm happy to see it.
And there's no camera.
Right. Well, the camera does, what we understand is that the camera showing his cell was broken. Somebody had broken it.
Accidentally on purpose.
Yeah. And the footage they supplied the public with is of a different door to a different cell. I mean, I don't understand how you could say it's clear as day. It's interesting you use the word clear, like Claire. That's what my name means in French. I don't know if he's like if it's like a little secret call to Claire. So he says there's nothing. If you have, anything, he's happy to see it, he says. Bongino, a former U.S. Secret Service agent, Secret Service can't be trusted, and conservative political commentator. Yeah, okay, yeah, you can't trust any conservative political commentator, in my opinion, said the video does not show the actual act of Epstein killing himself. Okay, yeah. Instead, he said it proves that Epstein was the only person who came in or out of his New York jail cell before he was found dead on the morning of August 10, 2019. I had no idea it was August 10th. Oh my goodness. That was it's on the 10th anniversary. I'm just going to have to show you now. I'm going to have to show you now. Clara Elizabeth Jackson. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, that's actually no. I have to put that into YouTube. That's not going to work on Google. Oh, there's lots of Clara Elizabeth Jacksons, but no. YouTube. I meant to go to YouTube. YouTube. Okay, so this is Claire Elizabeth. This is me in 2009, exactly 10 years to the day when Jeffrey Epstein supposedly committed, suicide. Yeah, that TMZ just made me look so ridiculous, didn't they? They always let me stop sharing. Yeah. That was a while ago. How many years ago is that? I've put on some weight since then. I'm losing a little bit though, aren't I? A little bit. Um, so 2009. Actually, what am I saying? So I was saying it was right, 2009. So it was 10 years. I didn't realize until this very moment, I did not realize that Jeffrey Epstein died on August 10th, 2019, on the exact 10th anniversary of that press conference I just showed you and played for you. I had no idea. I haven't followed it. It took me a while to remember him too. I don't think until he unalived or was unalived, whatever. I don't think I realized. Um, I don't think I remembered him. It took him dying for me to remember him. Actually, I might have started to remember him before that happened on the 10th anniversary of my bogus press conference in 2009. But let's go back to this article and finish. I'll share again. Um, Shenanigans. Okay, where is this? Oh, I just want to get to the place where I left off. And am I on here? Yeah, I am. Okay. August 10th, 2019. I can't get over that. Bongino did not say when the FBI was going to release the video. The agency, he said, is taking time to clean up and enhance the video, but would release the original version to the public. So you don't think there are any shenanigans? Yeah, well, Dean has a shenanigan sweatshirt. No, yeah, this didn't work, did it? When you look at the video, and we will release it, Bongino said, you're going to see that there's no one there but him. There's just nobody there. Yeah, and it wasn't even the door to his cell. It's what I understand. And 3 minutes missing. Epstein, 66, a well-connected financial consultant who rubbed shoulders with many prominent politicians and celebrities, including Prince Andrew, President Trump, and former President Clinton. And by the way, Clinton was at my house together with Hillary back in the 70s, before Trump and before Epstein, and before Prince Andrew. He was at my house too. Actually, it was Epstein who brought him once. I mean, I did meet Prince Andrew in England too, during my 7th grade year, it just so happens. Wow. Yeah, I haven't really thought about this. I went to England in 1978, was it? No, it was 1979. In June, well, May, I guess we went there in May of 1979. That was the end of my 7th grade year. And I'm wondering if Prince Andrew came before or after my visit to England. I'm really wondering if he came after my visit to England. He had witnessed me in England. Um, it was a similar situation, you know. I was I was ABUSED'd, and I guess his interest was piqued, and he hooked up with his pal Epstein, and they came to my house. He came to my house in the U.S. And I remember, yeah, Epstein being really careful. He introduced him as his friend Andrew. He didn't call him Prince. Um, and I remember Andrew was very concerned, that I would recognize him. He was acting really strange and quiet and uncomfortable. I remember that. And I'm like, what's the problem? And I didn't recognize him at all at the time. And uh and maybe that's why he was so uncomfortable, because I had come to England and he had seen me, and I'm sure I met him and shook hands with him. I don't really remember Andrew very well at that time. I knew he was there. I mean, there was Charles, of course, and of course I selected, they sent for me, Camilla had sent for me in America because the Queen had chosen some girl she didn't want marrying Charles. And Charles wanted to marry Camilla, but Camilla married somebody else because she knew he couldn't marry her. And she figured, well, if Charles is going to get married, let's marry him to the right woman, not the woman that the Queen wants. And, you know, they couldn't supersede the Queen's choice, so they had to send for me in America. They had to send for me in America so I could come and, I was in 7th grade. I was 13 years old, and I superseded the queen's selection because Camilla really loved Diana. And, I didn't really understand at the time that she had a threesome in mind. I really didn't. I was a young girl. I didn't think like that. But as an adult, I understand that's probably why she was so enamored with Diana. It wasn't that she thought she was a wonderful young woman for Charles. It was that she had something else in, Diana herself even said publicly, there weren't, there were 3 of us in this marriage. But, Diana knew Kamala set everything up. She knew that they were friends, and it was Kamala that insisted on Diana. It was Kamala who did all of that. And so, of course, she has a link to Charles, and I guess Diana was a little naive and not realistic in her thinking. I mean, she was a young girl too, not as young as me. And what are you doing, Dean? Oh, okay, thank you. I don't know if you brought something or some water. What did you do? Huh?
We're doing flashlight.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I think that might have been why he was so uncomfortable and ill at ease, because he was worried I'd recognize him. And I didn't recognize him. I just thought it was odd that he was so uncomfortable and they were acting all weird. I'm like, "What? What's the problem?" Uh, it was Epstein that said, "Yeah, this is my pal Andrew, Andrew," and he kept hiding behind Epstein. He was acting really strange, and I just didn't understand why. And and because I can remember all of it, it makes it very clear that that's why. Because you know that's why. Mhm. All right. Well, anyway, and Hillary and Bill were at my when I was living in Old Greenwich. Not It was before I lived in Princeton. This is where all these people visited me. Um, but when I lived, but I before I lived in Princeton, I lived in Old Greenwich, Connecticut. From um, from I moved there in the middle of first grade until the middle of, and I lived there until the middle of fifth grade. We lived on a house on Edgewater Drive for 1 year, from first grade to second grade, and then the rest of the time we lived on Tate Road. And it was when I lived on Tate Road that Bill and Hillary came, and it was the year right before they got married. What?
No.
Okay. Anyway, but it wasn't Bill who did anything. He just watched in astonishment. I'll leave it at that. Um okay, so he was arrested. So this is Epstein, and taken into federal custody in July of 2019 and charged with SEXTRAFFICKING of minors and conspiracy to commit SEX, the same, of minors. The indictment alleged that between 2002 and 2005, Epstein sexually EXPLOITED and ABUSED dozens of UNDERAGEGs at his homes, plural, in Manhattan, New Jersey, and Palm Beach, Florida, and other locations by enticing them to engage in SEX acts with him for cash. It also alleged Epstein paid several of his victims to recruit other UNDERAGEGIRLS to engage in similar SEX acts. Epstein had taken off he had been taken off suicide watch before he was found DEAD hanging by a bed sheet in his cell. A 2023 Department of Justice report found that Epstein was able to kill himself in a little over a month after he was imprisoned because of lax oversight at the Metropolitan Correction Center in Manhattan. Bongino's promise to release the video comes a week and a half after he and FBI Director Kash Patel dismissed conspiracy theories surrounding Epstein's death in a joint interview with Fox News. You know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was, Patel said. He killed himself. Bongino agreed. I've seen the whole file. He did. That's what he did. I knew he hadn't. Okay, I knew somebody else had done that to him at the time, and I mean the vision in my head was I knew it was Trump, because he had done that to me. But maybe I'm not exactly neutral, and it's very possible he didn't die. I'm really starting to really think maybe he is alive, and wouldn't it be great if he helped me, if he's alive to help me? That would be great. I'd be so thrilled. There are different videos. This one, I'm going to share this tab here. This is a really good, I haven't watched this this particular documentary, but there's this guy who was in my feed who was just raving about this particular documentary. He showed a few clips, and I was really impressed. And I'm going to watch this, and he recommended that everybody watch this, and I agree. It was really good. And let me just skim through here. This is it's been played a lot right here, so let me just play it right here.
Business owners and salespeople, the fastest way to massive confidence and success is programming your subconscious mind using the power of hypnosis.
Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oops. What did I do? I didn't mean to do that. Oh. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's do it.
Didn't even know who Epstein was, you might suggest. And to that I say, just wait. Bruce not only knew Epstein, he was a good friend of his, and vice versa. Indeed, Bruce's name appears multiple his own to make sure he was always taken care of, leaving Epstein protected not just by his roughly 10,000 acres of barren desert, but tens of thousands more acres of Bruce King and his family's land. Now that is a picture almost as compelling as George Bush with paper airplanes and Bill Clinton in a dress.
Okay, I don't know that that's really the part I would want to replay. Okay, this is the guy. This is really interesting. Okay, I'm just trying to see where it is. Okay. Okay, this is really interesting. I'm just trying to get to the place. I don't want to play all of it, I guess. So he's on the board of this this futurists board. Jeffrey Epstein is. His name is down here. He donated to this board, and basically, you're going to find out about one of his homes in New Mexico. There was some guy who was down there, and he saw, there's no close-up pictures of this house that Jeffrey has down in New Mexico. And he was near it, and he decided to just fly his drone to get some footage of it, better footage, because it was pretty far from the main streets. And he caught a really good view of it, and he got some close looks, and you'll see that there, I guess if I play this, you'll see what he saw and how security immediately reacted. He was like maybe a mile away, or he was not right next to the house, because the house is pretty isolated in the desert there. But as soon as they saw the drone and they saw the car, I guess it's the only street near to the house, even though it's quite a distance away. Immediately, security was in the car, driving to his car and everything. Very high security. And the guy's dead, supposedly, right? Jeffrey Epstein has been dead for years. And this particular compound is very carefully guarded. And to this day, from what I understand. And when he died, they said that there was money, that there was like millions of dollars, like $8 million or more, taken out of his account and transferred out of his account. And the judge claimed that, or something, that it was a mistake, it was an error. But they don't know where the money is. And of course, $8 million, I could live on that for the rest of my life. I could live pretty well on $8 million. I think I could live on $1 million for the rest of my life. I wouldn't be living in luxury, but I'd sure be okay. I wouldn't worry about not being able to buy food like I struggle with now. Yeah, so let's just watch a few seconds, a few minutes. We're, just a little bit.
This board discusses possible futures, including benefits we should try to achieve and risks we should try to avoid. Wow, stunning. And he was also on the finance board, which discusses money, obviously. However, the lifeboat organization did not seem to like being associated with him, in spite of how much money he may have given. So Epstein has been scrubbed entirely from their site, but not from the archives online, where his name can still be discovered. But no matter how much bleach they use, we can't deny the fact that Epstein was on the board of a company dedicated to various methods for the safeguarding of mankind, including the building of bunkers and other subterranean structures. So maybe those vents our good friend spotted with his drone aren't quite so silly after all, and that's why there's no close-up shots of the house from that side. And the tunnels and secret rooms beneath his house that Epstein bragged about to little girls while raping them, well, those might be real as well. Up to this point, I hope I've given you some information that you may have never heard before, or at least provoked some new thoughts. But now it's time to kick it up a notch. All this discussion of subterranean structures and debauchery at such a scale to make Sodom and Gomorrah blush made me wonder what else we're missing about Epstein. After all, we are here for the lesser known facts. Many of you may be familiar with the Epstein of 2020, a very much so hated man, but I would say it was not always that way. In fact, he was in Cosmopolitan's Bachelor of the Month on July 1st.
Doesn't he look like John Travolta here? He didn't, this would have been the time when I would have known him, 1980. I guess he was only 27 at that time. In my mind, I mean, when I see him, recent pictures of him, he looks like I remember him, even though he didn't have gray, white hair in the 70s. This is what he looked like. This is not a typical pose of him, though, and right there he looks very much like John Travolta there, in my opinion. But he didn't look like this exactly. He looked like the Jeffrey Epstein we all see, and yeah, maybe it was brown hair. Maybe his hair wasn't as short, but he looked the same to me. I don't know. In my mind, he looked the same. Okay. He wants a cute Texas girl. And he'll only talk to people who make over $1 million a year. Yeah, well, I probably gave him all his millions. He shouldn't be so snooty.
Of 1980, described as a New York dynamo looking for a quote cute Texas girl. And I'd say Texas girls probably dodged a bullet, but I prefer these descriptions of the fellow better. The source material is in the description. These are the excerpts from the 28th of October 2002 edition of the New York Magazine, who got a personal interview with Epstein himself and those who knew him. And this was a big deal because at the time Epstein was considered somewhat of an international man of mystery, with people wondering where his money came from and how he made such good friends like Les Wexner and how he made such a quick rise to the top. And this is what they have to say about Epstein in the magazine. The wizard that meets the eye is spare and fit with a long jaw and carefully coiffed head of silver hair. He looks like a taller, younger Ralph Lauren. A raspy Brooklyn accent betrays his Coney Island origins. He's an enthusiastic member of the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations. Here's the thing about Epstein, as some collect butterflies, he collects beautiful minds. I invest in people, be it politics or science, it's what I do, he said to friends. And his latest prize addition is the former president.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Well, anyway, the reason I was playing that, hold on, let me just pause this. The reason I was playing that is because they're saying that he's in a bunker underneath that big house that we saw on, that they were showing. He was on the board of some, bunker manufacturer or whatever, and in order for bunkers to work, they need vents on the top, and this is where he could be hiding, and he certainly has the money, to do such a thing. And they didn't I guess I didn't I didn't play the part where this guy flew the drone and set off, alarm bells at that particular house, and security approached his car, and he had his family with him, and everything was fine. But yeah, I mean, what are they guarding? He's dead. And so there's just a lot of telltale signs that he could still be alive, and I hope he is, and I hope he makes sure that he does his part to get me declassified. If he has those connections, I really hope Jeffrey does that for me. It's the least he can do, considering what he owes me. So that would be really nice if Jeffrey, if you are alive, Jeffrey, that you do your part to make sure that I'm properly declassified and get what's mine, since I have given you so much of what is mine in more ways than one over the years. You enjoyed so much of my money, and of course you robbed me of so much too, when I was a child. And it's the least you can do, if that's your contribution, to help you transform the horrible karma you have accumulated before you die. I mean, you are getting okay. So you were 27 I haven't looked up your birthday, but you were 27 in 1980. In 1980, I was 15 years old. You were like 12 years older than me. So you're probably like born in 54 or something. I have other people in my life like David Craig, who are about 12 years older than me, that were born in 1954. I'm sure that's when you were born. So that means you're like in your, if you're still living, you're in your 70s, early 70s, 71 maybe. And yeah, it's time to start thinking about your life and what you're going to do about all the bad stuff you did in life, and what you're going to do to transform it, so that when you die, it's not so bad for you. Since you owe me so much, I guess maybe that was my investment in you, and now maybe you can do something, right? Maybe that's your mission, and I hope it is. I hope. All right. Yeah, we don't need to revisit that. I'm just trying to see if here's another really popular part to replay. This is a popular part too. Yeah, this is supposed to be a really good documentary. I'm gonna watch it. Trust Keeps. Okay. I don't know. Okay. All right. But that's yeah, we already went through that. All right. Well, it's a good vid. I'm gonna watch it later. And here's another documentary. I'm going to share this tab now. And I don't know, I haven't seen this at all. This just ended up in my feed, and I'm just trying to see if I can't really see if this doesn't have the same, I can't see if people have replayed this as often. And maybe it's because it's newer. Yeah, it was published 2 days ago, so it doesn't have. This is that girl that unalived herself supposedly, and I'm really sad, for her. She was telling the truth. I'm just trying to see if there's anything worth. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched this. This was his prison cell. I don't know. Is this? That's not his body, is it? No. But supposedly he was hanging, and they say that the did I see this? Maybe I did.
Rather than cut by emergency responders. Standard procedure dictates that, in cases like that, first responders slice through the ligature to remove pressure as swiftly as possible. Here the cord hung neatly, suggesting it had never been severed. Even stranger was the placement of medical equipment in the photographs. The oxygen mask, supposedly applied in an effort to resuscitate him, was positioned at an angle across the face, not properly sealed to deliver airflow. Critics argued that such negligence was implausible given Epstein's notoriety and the presence of emergency-trained staff. Instead, it appeared as though the mask had been laid on the body for photographic effect, rather than function. Other anomalies emerged: bloodstains inconsistent with the way he died as announced, folded bedsheets arranged oddly, and the lack of visible bodily fluids that typically accompany such deaths. Forensic reconstruction experts concluded that the cell photographs less like a genuine emergency scene and more like a set prepared to approximate one. If the visuals were staged, then they point not to kill himself but substitution Epstein removed alive, while an artificial tableau completed the story. Beyond official images, a steady stream of shaky, grainy videos began circulating online, each purporting to capture Epstein alive in various locations. One clip, filmed on a cell phone in New Mexico, showed a man of similar build and hair pattern boarding a private jet at a small desert airstrip. The footage was blurred, but the walk, the hunched shoulders, the retreat from the camera resembled Epstein. Online sleuths noted that Epstein had previously owned property in New Mexico, making the location plausible. Another set of videos came from Tel Aviv, where a man seen entering a luxury apartment complex bore striking resemblance to Epstein, albeit older and more gaunt. Supporters claimed Mossad protection could explain his presence there, aligning.
All right. Well, I just I did look at this video a little bit, I guess. They were talking about, there was also another, they said that it wasn't his body, that the face did not look right as well. And I'm trying to see that part of the video. That's where I was, right? Maybe not. Maybe I don't know where that part is. I don't know. Yeah, it was just a different face. They said they showed the profile of the photo or something, and it didn't look quite right. It was him laying down, and it did look different from him. He had a different nose. Although at a distance it looked like him because he had the similar hair. One of the comments, one of my comments last night said
if you're unsure or unaware of
said that it was Hillary Clinton's brother. That Hillary Clinton's brother had just died, and that it was her brother that was the body they used. I don't know. I find that hard to believe that they would use somebody's brother who had just died. I mean, they could have used anybody, you know. Why would they use Hillary's brother? I mean, I know that they probably knew each other and he died right then, but I don't think they would necessarily use somebody well-known, the well-known brother, a well-known person's brother. I don't know if that's the one that'll show something. Let's see. Come on. Oh.
The most publicized contradiction arose from photographs published by the New York Post, allegedly showing Epstein's body on a gurney as it was wheeled out of the Manhattan Correctional Center.
It looks like
At first glance, they offered closure: a pale face, mouth slightly ajar, oxygen mask strapped across the nose. Yet forensic specialists, body language analysts, and even casual observers raised doubts within hours. Critics noted discrepancies in facial structure. Epstein's known aquiline nose appeared shorter and more upturned in the photo. His earlobes,
there. See. Actually, yeah, he didn't have a nose like that. This is a different nose, right? Don't you think? I don't know. Is that blurred? See, it looks like somebody blurred it too. This is a photograph, is it? It's like somebody knew that and they blurred it intentionally so it looked more like him. It does kind of look like him except for his nose. And yeah, he had more of a sloping nose. He didn't have a nose that had that kind of a line to it.
Prior court images were clearly attached, seemed in the gurney photo to be detached, a feature nearly impossible to mistake. Even the mandible, the angle of the jaw, looked broader than in authenticated pictures. Such anatomical differences suggested the possibility of a substitute body being presented to the public, an old technique in intelligence operations where body doubles shield a subject from scrutiny. Forensic pathologists added another layer. The photograph's shadows and lighting indicated it might not have been taken in the immediate aftermath of death. The skin tone appeared inconsistent with a freshly deceased body, suggesting either staging or manipulation. If one accepts these claims, the morgue photos were not proof of death, but evidence of a cover operation designed to close the narrative quickly before questions could spread. Equally troubling were the official images from...
All right, so we saw this. Okay. So I think it's very possible that, I mean, it's very possible, but at the same time, when this happened in 2019, oh, it just came over me so clearly. I could just see Trump doing what he always had done to me. But again, I'm not neutral. So maybe I was just re-experiencing what happened to me. And it just seemed like he was telling me from the grave that he had not done away with himself, that somebody else had done it. But I am telepathic. I mean, he could have told me I didn't do that. I didn't do away with myself. Other people made this happen, and I just misinterpreted it and just was re-experiencing what Trump did. And Trump was right there in New Jersey at the time and, could have assisted in this operation to fake his death. Yeah. I was thinking he was there to personally do away with him like he had done to me so many times. Well, Jeffy, if you're out there, please do your magic. And, I really am thinking that, if he is alive, if you are alive, Jeffrey, that this is your mission. And we rigged it so that somebody like you could help me make what is the inevitable possible, that I will be declassified. I need your help in making that happen. I need some insider somewhere who has the freedom to do what you might be able to do what needs to be done, so I can be declassified and have a life that I've never been allowed to have. You've amassed so many millions of my dollars and lived in mansions. You've been connected to the most powerful people in the world, thanks to my people's connections. You owe me, Jeffrey. You do. And this is your mission. I really think you're alive. I really want to believe you're alive. So you can do your mission and make life better make your future better for yourself before you die. You actually die. Mm-hmm. Yes, Dean? Yes?
One U.S. Navy SEAL.
What?
One SEAL took him out.
What are you talking about, Navy SEALs? What?
Just one to take Navy on.
Okay, I'm not talking Navy SEAls.
Everything now. No blood pressure. None. It's all clean.
I'm not talking about Navy SEAls, Dean. I'm talking about Jeffrey Epstein. What does that have to do with Navy SEAls?
The most worst jail they have. SEAL can get in and kills me.
Okay. Oh, you're
All
saying,
the time.
okay, so you're saying that somebody could have gone into his jail cell and done the dirty deed. Yes, I mean that is possible, but I just knew at the time that that wasn't the case. I just knew it with my whole body. I know he did not do away with himself. I know that. I knew that then, and I know it now. I still know it. I felt, and the message I got from Jeffrey, because I did receive, like, I could like, I'm telepathic, and I knew Jeffrey Epstein was telling me he was not unalived by somebody else. Well, no. What I believed at the time, the message I received at the time from Jeffrey was, no, I did not unalive myself. Somebody else arranged this. And what I took that to mean was, and Trump was in New York City, or I mean in New Jersey at his little golf club there, and I just knew that Trump had something to do with it and had a personal hand in it. And of course, the whole experience of Trump doing what he did to me, I know it was more than one time. I could just see it happening to Jeffrey. And that's what I believed. Now, I'm not a neutral. I'm not neutral in this. I have personal experience, and I could be clouding up the situation with my own personal experience, the trauma I experienced. But I knew he had not unalived himself for sure. And this really does make more sense, that they would have made arrangements for him to lead an underground existence. I mean, he had all the money in the world to do that, and I'm sure he paid off a lot of people to help make it happen. And Trump, he would have loved a number of millions of dollars to help out his old friend. And yeah. And I just hope that Jeffrey Epstein is not continuing with all of his abuse. There is an underground community of people. He lives underground, and I'm sure he has links to other underground communities where people are born into captivity and they have no rights, and they live and die that way. And I really hope he's not participating in that and digging a deeper hole for himself. I'm talking about Epstein, Jeffrey. A way that he can alleviate some of this and transform some of this karma is by achieving a mission like this, doing what nobody else could do, since he's hidden away publicly hidden away, and has connections that very few people have. And my people made those arrangements. And I know Jeffrey knows he owes me. And maybe he always knew this was his mission. Maybe he always knew. Maybe my people told him from the very beginning in the 70s that this is what he was going to do. And he just enjoyed the ride. I mean, it's disgusting how he enjoyed that ride. It's a very horrible thing, life he led. But yeah, I'm really thinking, and maybe I'm remembering this. I might be remembering this. See, sometimes my memories start off with a hunch or an inkling, or like I just think maybe, it's like that's the beginning of a memory that's surfacing, and I don't yet completely remember everything, but I'm thinking my people told him right in front of me. Yeah, I haven't remembered that. I mean, I'm still remembering. It's just it's a little on the vague side right now because it's a new thought. It's never occurred to me before this moment. You're witnessing a new memory surface right now. Jeffy, go for it. Do it. You were born to do this. And thank you. Thank you for doing the right thing this time. You know, very sad. You did the wrong thing for so long. But now you can, this is a very good thing if you can do this, you know, and you were born to do this, and it would wipe out a lot of the bad before you die. Because, yeah, you're in your 70s. You could die at any time. I don't think you'll die tomorrow, but who knows? You never know.
Hey, at the end, God is going home.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. All right. Well, really, that's significant. I mean, everyone witnessed the way my memory process works, or, you know, this is the very, it's not very dramatic, is it? You know, you could almost miss it. Like if I wasn't, because I've gotten so good at this, I know what to look for with my memories. I know the process, that it doesn't just like, oh, I remember now. You know, it's not like usually that sudden. Sometimes it can be, but it's never that, it's not usually that dramatic. It's just like, maybe, oh, and I, you know, when I saw those comments, you know, last night, and, you know, oh, I guess I should check my comments really quick, see if there's any in there. Oh, look at this. Hi, Depeche Mood. I see you. Okay. Let me just, how do I do this? What do I do? Show. Here's, fresh video. Epstein is alive. Here's the proof. Goop. Yeah, the Coops. Yeah, that's the channel. Okay, but there is a newer video. I was showing you an older video, many strange, awkward evidences. So who knows? Yeah, let me go and look at the late. I wasn't showing the latest because the the guy who the YouTuber who pointed this particular, no, this is crime cases here. The one that pointed out this creator, Coop, it was 2 weeks ago, I guess. The video was 2 weeks old, and so that was the video from 2 weeks ago. The disturbing side of Epstein no one is talking about. And here's the latest, which is yeah, the disturbing side of Epstein no one is talking about. He's made 2 more videos, and this is the latest one. I guess I should like glance at it. I'm not going to play you. Okay, so the following here, let me share. The following, let me make myself smaller. The following content may contain, SUICIDE or self-H topics. I understand and wish to proceed. Yeah, I wonder, oh, I got this in the way. Okay. Or I had it. Yeah. I wonder if, I sometimes wonder if when people end up like Depeche Mood, sometimes I wonder if that's FBI, people from the FBI or CIA giving me a little hint. Because, I don't know. Depeche Mood, are you FBI or CIA? I'm curious. All right. Let's go back. I don't know what I'm going to see here that I don't know. I haven't seen this, but let's see if anything looks interesting. Oh, here's something. Oh, these are pictures. Oh, okay. Let's play this. I don't know.
By a random piece of flesh on her face, and the same seems to be happening for the other 2 old men at the table. Thus, either something horrible and undefinable happened to these folks, or this photo was horribly photoshopped, making it more clear this was staged. While we're at it though, knowing old Rupert Murdoch, Epstein's buddy, likes to falsify photos, let's point out what's wrong with the Epstein ambulance photo. besides the fact the body's in Epstein's. One, the oxygenator isn't even in Epstein's mouth, you can tell by the angle. What am I saying? This whole thing is a lie. Let's not even belabor the point. No EMT ever pretends a body's alive and
Okay. It looks like him. Of course, it's supposed to look like him.
gives it oxygen and puts the neck in a brace. The whole thing's ridiculous. Epstein's been dead for like 6 hours at this
Oh, that doesn't look like him. Okay. Wow, they're showing all these photos. I can't believe it. Okay.
point. This entire thing was a clever piece of propaganda. By the time Epstein made it to the ambulance, he was long dead. Unless your point is to make people think that, oh my goodness, they had rushed him to the hospital and he passed away there, and that Epstein had just taken his own life. It's clearly not what happened, and it's just ridiculous that they're trying to sell it at this point. This next section is just going to be a series of reasons why Epstein is very clearly alive. We'll try and go rapid fire because this video is already very long. The first reason I believe Epstein is not dead is simple. In 2014, 5 years before his death, Epstein masterminded the establishment of an unmonitored account that he reported to the authorities in the Virgin Islands that it would be used for establishing an international bank. In reality, this account was basically a really fancy entity that was separate from Epstein himself and would go unnoticed by almost everybody. And Epstein could run money in and out of it. Even Epstein's legal team didn't know about it until well after his alleged death. Just get this though, when Epstein supposedly dies in prison, the account has roughly $700,000 sitting in it. Within 5 months of his demise, the Epstein estate, which he sets up 2 weeks prior to his death while in prison, sends an automatic wire transfer of $15.5 million to the account. And I want to remind you, the only person who had access to this account or knew it existed and could have unilaterally made the transfer was Epstein, meaning that in December, the total amount of money in the account was roughly $16.2 million-ish. Once again, only one man is capable of this, and he's supposedly deceased. Even stranger, no one ever presses Epstein's legal team on this. The story dies right about the same time, with no major news media coverage, which is why you've never heard of it likely until right now. There was one report I was able to find with any amount of decent information in it, and the judge says about the money that there is no explanation for it, and then the lawyers for Epstein proceed to claim that the money transfer was an error, and that the money was just used to make basic payments like cable bills. First of all, is it an error, or is it for paying bills? Because one, you don't make a $15 million error, and two, you don't need $15 million to pay for your cable bill. And $16.2 million is more than enough to live off of, or in my theory, to get to another country with. And I don't want to leave out that within a few weeks of Epstein's account receiving this $15 million transfer, all the money was liquidated, and before the new year, it was gone. No one knew where it went. On that note, there is an interview from an Epstein source claiming to be a Mossad agent. The agent goes on to claim that Epstein is alive and continuing his evil ring from the deserts of Israel, where he is being protected, and that Epstein has also continued the cloning operations we uncovered previously. The Mossad agent says he, along with many of his friends, were tasked with guarding Epstein, but are disgusted. Epstein is taking children from the streets of Israel and doing unimaginable things with them. And whether you take him at his word or not is up to you, but we do know that Epstein and Ghislaine's dad and Ghislaine herself were all Mossad agents based on the last video. And there is a picture of Epstein wearing an IDF or Israeli Defense Force shirt on a private jet with another individual. And finally, former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, was one of Epstein's best friends visiting his home in New York over 30 times after Epstein was convicted of sex trafficking children. It is also known that girls would walk into Epstein's home that very same time that Ehud was visiting. And let's not forget that the government of Israel is one of the most pervasive examples of defending pedophilia. They do it for fun over there. Moving on to the third rapid fire reason Epstein is not dead, is that after doing that 30-minute Zorro Ranch video, I realized something very odd. A few years after Epstein allegedly passed away in prison, an anonymous buyer came forward and purchased the property at about a $10 million discount. And to this day, multiple years later, we've never gotten a single bit of information about who owns the property. And I do have to imagine that only one person would really be willing to buy that kind of property, considering that the entire thing is covered in cameras, and there's a kiddie strip club in the basement, and egg farms, and all sorts of other disgusting things. Which then makes me wonder why this buyer has been left anonymous, because there's only so many people in this world who have the sort of money to acquire such a property. And there's even fewer people who would know how to operate all the things inside of the property. And finally, keeping the buyer anonymous really does make me think that Epstein just reacquired the property under a different trust so that no one would be the wiser. Because after all, CNN and Fox told us he's dead, so he's dead. But sorry, that's too conspiratorial. 4, Epstein was clearly wealthier than anyone has ever been told. I've seen the numbers of his net worth go up every year from 500 million to 600 million to $1 billion to $2 billion. He clearly had a lot more money than we're aware of, and more important than money was his sway. He had connections to just about every single wealthy or powerful person or celebrity on the face of the earth, and there's no shot that he ended his life in prison. He most certainly got out. But one reason why I think that is because most of Epstein's wealth and his properties have been hidden to us. For instance, I'm assuming that you did not know, as I didn't until recently, that Little St. James, the island of infamy that comes to mind for everyone when they think of Epstein, was actually one of 2 islands he owned. He admitted to this in an interview. Little St. James is the little version of his other island, which is named the Great St. James. Little St. James is about 71 acres, and his Great St. James is 2.5 times the size of that, coming in at a whopping 161 acres. That island has never been searched, and we do know that there are buildings on it, but no one really seems to be able to get pictures of the property up close, which is just another odd addition. It's also...
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Where are we going, Dean? I'm going to stop sharing.
You need to stop telling these women all about this shit happened to you back in the 70s and all. Just shut up. All right?
What are you talking about? What are you saying? I'm just doing my little doing my live stream, Dean. Anyway, I've been on for almost an hour and a half, so I guess that's all I have for today. I mean, there are other things in the news, but that was the main thing I wanted to focus on. There is this Lemon Live at 5. I don't know if it's still going on live though. Let me see. It's a totally different subject. Lemon Line. Yeah, I guess it is still alive. Streamed 2 hours ago. Okay, so it's. I don't think it's. Is it live? It's about how Trump is joining the National Guard and the military and patrolling DC, I guess. But that's different subject. Different subject. All right, Dean. Okay. Anyway, I think that we're done for today. If you have anything to say, please feel free to comment. I haven't added my comments, my chat. Show on screen. Here's the one comment I received. Okay, well, that's really it. Let me just undo that because it makes everything smaller when I have it. Let's see. Oh, wait, I didn't do it right here. Okay, well, not show it. Feel free to comment on YouTube if not here. I mean, if you haven't commented here, feel free to comment on YouTube. Let me know what you're interested in. I really appreciate Depeche Mode for telling me about Jeffrey being alive. I hadn't noticed. I guess I've been out of the loop a little bit, but I appreciate it. And if you want me to, if you want to bring anything else to my attention, please do, because I might look into it on my next live stream. Anyway, give me a thumbs up. I deserve it. Thank you so much. And if you can handle the truth, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, take care. Peace out.